In progress. Recording in progress. That's what it always says. Open it up. You're going claw today.
Dude,
Is that
it's
a
a big
tall boy can?
yeah.
Jeez Louise, dude. You're down bad after a day out in the sun. What's going on, ladies and gents? This is another episode of You Already Know the Show. You know the brand. You know the ways. You know everything that we talk about here. It's Cold Ones Conversations. I am your host, Harry Heaps. I go by many names like Hollywood Hair. And I am joined by one of the most depressed sports fans you'll ever meet, but he keeps his head up any day of the week because he's always got love for his city. Brendan, the bod, Petrilli. You see the Eagle sheet in the background. Trilly, how are we doing today?
Yeah, it's funny because I've after that game we'll get to it in a little bit,
Right,
but
right.
I was an adult. I held it together
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. For the most part. I wasn't screaming, I wasn't yelling, I wasn't
No.
blaming at people. I have Kieran Kenny texting me the whole time during the game. Well, not the whole time. He only texted me when the Knicks got their first lead in the fourth quarter, by the
Right.
way. I was texting him a couple times, nothing too crazy. But once the Knicks get the lead, then he'll respond. Well, whatever. I was being nice to him. I didn't say mean words to him after the game. Like I kept it together. That
Yeah,
that's not like me. I'm growing as an individual, as a human being, but my sports teams keep doing it to me, Harry. They
they do.
keep doing it, and
They're
it's
disemboweling you at some points. I mean, dude, when you look at what the Phils did this past year, when you look at what the Eags did this past year, and now,
before that, we go from losing to the Super Bowl, losing a World Series, losing in a Game 7 to the Celtics. The
yes,
Flyers choked this year when they had a playoff chance.
yes,
The Eagles were 11-1, blew that.
blew that.
The
Talk
Phillies
about
lose to
blew
the
it.
Arizona Diamondbacks and should have won a World Series.
It's a
And
bad
then the
day.
Sixers are just the eternal get close enough to get you excited just to hurt you.
But that's what the Sixers are. The Sixers are they're the boy in the night. Takes you out, nice dinner, and he leaves without even a goodbye kiss. They're gone. That's what they do to you, man. And Joel said the question becomes this, dude, is when does the city turn on Joel? Because I want to say one thing. In my whole time of following Philly sports pretty closely now, Joel's like the Teflon Don, dude. He can lose, and nobody comes for him. Is that ever gonna is that
No,
ever gonna change?
people come for him all the time. They do.
Not the way they do other people who've played in your city, though.
I would agree with that a little bit, but people say he's got to be down on the post more. He stopped shooting threes. The guy's always hurt. Like there's a lot going after him.
But when do the echoes of we would be better off without him come
That's
into
been
play?
creeping in over the past year or so.
Right?
And if they get swept, this offseason is going to be interesting.
Very.
You go around any team in the NBA, would you not want Joel Embiid on your team?
Right. What's he worth today? He's worth a lot still. 100%.
Like the guy is playing on pace to be another MVP before he got hurt again. But
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's brutal. I mean, we can.
It's hard. I mean, dude, I think that we got to jump into the other side and talk about, dude, the Knicks they're playing out of their mind. They are playing out
And
of
I
their
think
mind.
that's the biggest thing with these two games and why people aren't coming for Joel as much right now is one, he's playing on one leg. He gets hit in the eye, but then you look at everybody else on this team, who's doing anything?
Right.
Tobias Harris sucks. He's the guy that's getting all the hate, which is deserved. He's getting paid all this money. You can get money aside, whatever. But even if he was a regular role player, the guy's not getting you more than 10, 15 points a night. I mean, the guy is supposed to be your third option off the bench or in the starting lineup, and he just can't do anything. He played a little bit better defense in this last game, but he wasn't rebounding. He can't score a lick. Joel and Maxey combined for 69 points of their 101, right? I mean, like it's a
Right.
nice number, but we need other guys to come through here where the Knicks have heart. They got DiVincenzo, they got Bellin or not Bellinelli, that's old Sixers player, but foreign who's the foreign guy shooter? Whatever.
It's your team, dog.
No, the Knicks player I'm thinking of.
Oh, the Knicks player. I thought
Bargnani.
I don't
or
know who it is.
yeah.
I don't know anybody on the Knicks, to be honest,
They
besides
got
Brunson
they got the
and
one
Randall.
Brown guy getting buckets for them, 20
Yeah,
points in the first game. Like their role
they got
players are all
depth.
stepping up for them.
They got real
And
depth.
they're making up for Jalen Brunson, who's been struggling because the Sixers they've eliminated him a lot in these
Right.
first two games, and you haven't been able to take a game. And that's the biggest thing. And Oubre only got 4 points the other night. I mean, what's his face? Nico Batum had a great game against the Heat in the play-in, but in the last two games, the guy doesn't know how to box out, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the Knicks are going out there, and I'll get to it in a little bit where we'll get to maybe, well, are you dumb? Maybe not dumb, but before we transition to the NFL, talking to my kids, my rugby kids, they got to have some heart out there. And this Sixers team has no heart.
No heart.
The Knicks have all the heart.
Have all the heart.
And they've gotten everything that was needed to get done. To win a game, they got it done. The Sixers they didn't get one. Not one play went their way, or not one play any of their players went and took it and got it done.
Well, dude, that I totally agree with, because when you look at it, man, when you look at the Knicks season, just this overall year, this has kind of been that breakout year. Well, without a doubt, it's been a breakout year, but it's been that breakout year that yet still has been doubted. Well, it's the New York Knicks. They're going to fail eventually. They're not going to be able to make a playoff run. Jalen Brunson, MVP, what? That makes no sense. And yet they're overcoming all those odds. Now, I'm going to say, I think that we all know the Knicks are not a team. They're not going to come out of the East. They can make an East run, but they're not going to come out of the East. And what they're playing for is that viability of attracting superstars to want to come to New York, come to the Garden,
I don't know, man.
make
This
the
Knicks
Garden
team,
better.
they
are, but
they can play.
They can play. They can play, but they're not at that Boston level yet. And I know we're going to get to Boston losing to Miami, but still, they're not there yet. Listen, dude, right now, no offense, but they're beating up on a team that's got a history of losing in the playoffs. So until they do. I mean, I just got to call the shot. That's no disrespect. I'm just being honest. A cigar man to a cigar man. They're beating up on a team that knows how to lose this time of year. I want to see what they're like against a team that knows how to win this time of year. What I will say about the Knicks is, dude, you got to wonder, talking about crazy off seasons, if the Knicks, let's say, God forbid, in your end, the Knicks win this series and they go to a 7-game series in the second round, but they lose. If they were able to do all that, do they really need Randall, or are they shopping this guy? Because look at all they've done without a guy like him, who they've given a boatload of money to, by the way.
Yeah, that money would have to go. You would want to give it to a Paul George or somebody like that.
Exactly. So when you look at all that you've accomplished,
that's tough to move.
It absolutely is tough to move. No, it totally is, because who's really going to want Randall right now when you've seen his productivity didn't affect their run? But that's a conversation that's going to happen. I just think that, man, dude, right now the Knicks are playing with house money. They're going to be in your dome. The city has got to give the Sixers that. I think the city's got to give the Sixers that extra boost that right now the guys on the court can't. Yeah. Because all momentum is New York's way.
It's the big thing of, role players play better at home, and that's come to fruition. That happened with the Heat Sixers game. Your role player stepped up.
Right.
That needs to come true here tonight, right? We're putting this out Thursday morning. I'll be in the building. Come hang out. Bet Rivers. We'll be there broadcasting pregame and postgame. Feel free to come by. We'll love to have some fan reactions to how this goes, especially if it gets ugly. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck so much. But it could be awesome if they win, and they win convincingly. Joel looks great. Him and Maxey get 35 plus again. They kick their ass, and we're like, all right, we got a chance again.
We're telling the intern to clip just me laughing there, because, dude, how you're already preordaining this slow death is crazy.
Or we're back. There's the difference. It's either we're dead or we're back.
Right.
But I'll be there. Yeah. So hit me up if you're in the house.
Well, here, let's go to another team. Let's go to my team. We're not just going to pile in on you. Let's go to my team. Let's talk about
last thing
okay,
on the Sixers.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen I touched on the intro a little bit, but have you seen a team lose in more finding ways to lose in more heartbreaking fashions than this Sixers team? Like to be
It's
up
crazy.
6 points with a minute left. Like,
The Lakers can kind of top you right now. We're gonna get into
yeah,
that. They can
yes.
top you.
But if this is the past couple years in a row now, it's just
Sure,
brutal.
absolutely.
Like
Right.
brutal. But yeah, that's kind of my last thing on the
Well,
Sixers.
and it kind of all spawned that Sixers finding a way to lose with that Kawhi shot. Like it goes
Yeah,
back
yeah.
far.
I mean,
It goes back that far.
Brunson chucks up a three, hits
Yep.
off the front of the rim, goes 5 feet in the air, and then splash in. You're
Just
like,
down.
what is
Yeah.
going on here?
Just down. Just down.
Nobody rebound. Nobody made their free throws. They can't get timeouts. The refs suck. It
Dude,
wasn't just the refs,
but what's crazy is, and we're not going to go to the Suns now because you've made 2 transition points. You're describing the Laker game though now.
yeah.
Nobody rebound. Nobody could get a shot to fall. The role players could barely step up, and the second key guy in AD, halfway through the third quarter and then beyond through the rest of the game, couldn't get a shot to fall. I just want to make one quick note, and then we're going to talk about the downfall of the Lakers and everything that happened throughout that game, because I watched the whole thing. I'm going to give you my diagnostic, everything. I had my finger on the pulse, as they say in broadcast radio. It is, dude, can you imagine how much longer LeBron could keep playing?
Dude, LeBron could play for another 5 years, man.
LeBron could play for another 5 years. Thank you, my brother.
He's so good.
The way that he was sticking threes in that fourth quarter, bro. If he had a guy who was okay, we were having a friend of the show, Jack. We were having a phone call yesterday before we went out on a date, actually. And I said to him, I said, dude, he was like, Jack said to me, how much longer do you think LeBron can play? And I said, at this level, 2 years, overall, 5 years.
Yeah.
But I said, if he was playing with Luka right now, and he was playing with a guy 3 steps ahead of him, and he didn't have to be the number one, he could play at this level as a top 7 player for the next 5 years. He could play at a top 7 level. If there was a guy 3 steps ahead of him, that what AD is supposed to be, he could play like this for another 5 years, without a doubt. But let's go to the Lakers' demise, because we could talk LeBron and that'll take up the whole show.
Well, and that's the biggest thing, I think, for this Lakers demise is
100%.
He goes and gets you 26, 12, and 8. I mean, almost a triple-double. Russell gets you 23. Davis gets you 32.
He was playing well. Russell was playing well.
Davis kind of got shut down a little bit from what I was hearing after they put Gordon on him. He was cooking every time Jokic was on him. They made a change, and then he faded out towards the end of the game there. I mean,
and AR couldn't find it. AR could not find a shot the entire game, it felt like.
You almost had everything go the Lakers' way just to lose.
Just to lose.
Like, what more could the Lakers do?
Truly. How do you, on the road, you go up 15 going into the half.
Yeah.
And by the start of the third quarter, you're up 20. You gave up a 20-point lead and lost on a buzzer beater because you failed at fundamental basketball as the number 1 overall point. The second half, you were out-rebounded. Offensively, you got all out-rebounded. While they're taking their shot, their players are getting them second and third opportunities in the Denver Nuggets, and you couldn't stop them. You couldn't stop them. You couldn't get that floor clear of a Denver player. And I will say this, I thought the refs were calling it a very fair game. Both sides were getting calls, but Denver knew how to light it up. And the movement that Denver had to, the closeout on defense was just unresponsive by the Lakers. And then again, it just comes down to when you're asking LeBron at age 39 to be your Lord and Savior, you're not going to win these series. You've got to have younger talent that can at least keep up with him. And it seems like that when the going gets tough for the Lakers, LeBron is the only one that can see the light. And unfortunately, I think that at his age and stature, he's not able to translate that view anymore to the other guys. And honestly, it's not his responsibility. They're in the league at this point. They're veterans. You got guys on that team that were a part of that championship bubble roster. They need to be able to do that same thing. When we notice that we're losing by 10 and or we're not losing by 10, but we're getting caught up by 10 and the crowd's getting loud and we're losing our momentum, I'm not just going to rely on Bron to have to go to the rim or stick a three. I'm going to get mine. And it seemed like the only guy that could do that was Russell. So where I kind of want to transition to this is it's clear the Lakers have lost this series because of that game. Because of that game, this series is done.
Yeah, it's over.
So let's fast forward to the future. And let's talk about what's going to happen either after game 4 or after game 5 if the Lakers somehow get one. I'm going to say this. If they get swept, he's gone. He is not staying in LA. If they lose, but they don't get swept, they are able to get one, he's considering leaving. It's on the table. It's on the table. But if they get swept, he's gone. Like, it's not a debate. It's not, what can we do to figure out getting more talent? It's like, I've got to go somewhere else. Because what I will say is this is the last point before I let you go. As you can see, I can go a million miles an hour with LeBron. But this is the point that I said to Jack. LeBron is solidified in his career. There's no doubt about it. In my opinion, and in many other people's opinions, he's the greatest of all time. But without a doubt, he is solidified as the number 2 of all time, if you want to put Jordan above because of rings. So when you look at it, what does LeBron have left to solidify in his career? More rings. And LeBron is proving at year 39 of age, he still has enough in the tank to play at a top 7 level, not top 10, not top 15, top 7, and can still play at a level enough to get a ring. So you've got to ask yourself, am I gonna jeopardize the last, as you and I just said, 5 years to potentially get 1 or 2 more rings? Am I going to leave that with a team that can't get it together? Or am I going to try to get a movement to go to a Dallas to be with Luka and Kyrie? Am I going to try to go to the market of New York and get another big player to come with me to be the better version?
Or go play with Joel Embiid and
Or go
Tyrese Maxey.
That Joel Embiid is not going to happen. The city ain't good enough for him. But seriously, think about it. He's got to have a guy. If he moves, he's got to have a guy who's better than him. That's my one and only argument to my caveat. Luka does that. The Knicks don't have that yet, but they got the better market. And Brunson would be the phenomenal third option. For LeBron to win, though, clearly what we're seeing is he can't be the number 1. Because when he's got to carry it, no, not anymore. And it's not because he can't do it. It's because the other guys can't get their shit enough together just to be a good enough 2.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on that, man? If they get swept, is he out?
I mean, I would like him out. It would definitely make the NBA interesting. I don't know. I don't have as strong opinions as you do on LeBron.
I got big opinions on LeBron. Well, because he's arguably one of the most, not arguably, he is one of the most influential humans still on the planet.
Yeah,
like,
no, for sure.
When he decides to go somewhere, it's like when Tom Brady goes somewhere, you're automatically competing for rings.
No, for sure. For sure.
So, to me, what are the markets where we know he's not?
Can he not get people to come to LA anymore?
I don't know. Well, let me say it this way. Let me rephrase that question to you and you answer this. Can he get someone who's better than him to come to LA? Because there's very few of those guys right now.
Who would be able that would be able to leave that is better? KD? Is KD better than him at this point in his career?
Absolutely not.
Is Paul George better than him?
Definitely not. Booker's the only guy, and Booker signed the extension. He's got an opt-out, but he's got the extension. He's the only guy.
So, I mean,
that's my point. LeBron's got to go somewhere.
Go somewhere where the guy's locked up.
Yes. He's got to go to a place like a Dallas.
He's got that availability with his player option. So
yes, he does.
It'll be interesting. Wherever Bronny ends up going to will play a huge factor in it.
And then let's just end out this NBA
Could
talk
he go to like OKC?
No. No. So let's talk about this. Let's end out this LeBron talk with this. Let's talk about the real markets that would be viable. The only markets that are viable are championship contenders. Boston, Philadelphia, the Bucks, Golden State, Dallas.
Another thing, if he's leaving, he's going back to the East.
Thank you. Cleveland.
Goes
7.
back to Cleveland. Miami to play with Butler.
No, he's not. And I don't think he's going back to Miami. So where you automatically, the teams you got to count out are Denver. You got to count out the Warriors because he's not going there. You got to count out Boston. You got 3 options and the Bucks. So you got 2 options left, in my opinion. You've got A, Dallas, or B, you're going back to Cleveland. But you're only going back to Cleveland if you know that Mitchell's staying. And Mitchell's made it seem like he's leaving after this year.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, dude, the only way that you're winning is if you're playing with the caliber of player of Luka. You're not going to Boston because you own Boston. I would hate the thought of LeBron winning rings with Boston. He made Boston his biatch his entire career. He shouldn't go win rings there. And with the Warriors, we see how that played off.
That would be a KD move. Yeah, going to the Warriors.
And so that's my point.
Except the Warriors have won championships. Boston hasn't.
And my point that I would make is I actually think that when you look at the grand scheme of every NBA talent, and we'll clip this of what I'm about to say, KD's movement to the Warriors, in my opinion, disqualifies him as a top 10 player all time. Because he was never able to get that sniff, besides that 1 year in OKC, of a championship without having to go get at least one other player as good as him and another one and another one and another one right on his heels. And I can say that and not say it about LeBron because Bosh was good, but Bosh wasn't D Wade. Kevin Love was good. Kevin Love wasn't Kyrie. Kevin Durant went to a Steph Curry, a Klay Thompson, a Draymond Green, and then a bench. So to me, where I'm making with this argument is LeBron doesn't want that stench.
Yeah.
He doesn't want that stench.
Yeah. No, it's
so I don't know.
Do you think if KD goes back to Oklahoma City, do you think that kind of completes his story arc?
No, because I think that KD knows.
He goes back and he wins it with this young team. I mean, he's going to get crap for saying he's going back to a number 1 seeded team, but he'd be the dog on that team. What?
Has he said he wants that?
No, but I mean, this Suns team that we can get to in a second here, we got to get to, could be one of the biggest blunders as a general manager in the history of the NBA.
They're not a bigger blunder than the Brooklyn setup, and you can never twist my arm otherwise.
Harden, but KD, Kyrie. Brooklyn was a big toe away from going to an Eastern Conference final and an NBA final. This Suns team might get their rear end swept by the Timberwolves, who are a good team. But the Nets at least won some series, and they were very competitive. This Suns team, nowhere close to that. Right or wrong?
Wrong, because those guys never played on the floor together. They never played on the floor together.
They won playoff series together. This Suns team is going to get swept.
Did I ask for us to go get Beal?
Oh, no. Yeah.
No, Check the records. Go back. I never asked for that. I wanted us to do what? I wanted us to do what the Warriors did with their last championship run. Go get KD. Go get 35. Go get that snake sniper, and then get depth, and then deal for depth. I said on the podcast, as a matter of fact, if we're going to go get anybody who's superstar talent, let's go get Jordan Poole, because clearly the Warriors don't want him. We can get him for cheap. We'll have him for longer than Beal, and he's not going to be as expensive as Beal. And we see what we have now. When you are 3 top heavy, you're failing. When you're 3 top heavy. And Brooklyn set that stage. But when you're just Luka and Kyrie and depth, you're good. When you are the Joker and then a lot of really solid players,
Jamal Murray's
you're good.
Right there.
Jamal Murray's right there, but he's not been in. I'm talking about a guy who's been in the All-Star, in the All-Star category. He's not been an All-Star player yet or an All-NBA yet. So what my point is that the new outlook of the NBA, it was with the Warriors, it was with KD, as many superstars as we can get will win rings. And then Boston was like, well, we're just going to have two really good guys and we'll build around them. And then the Warriors just found a way to refine and they won off of it with Clay and Steph. Draymond being on the back nine, a lot of depth. And the Suns just said, screw it. So yeah, dude, we're screwed right now. We maxed out Booker, given him the talent of go getting a KD, and then dealing for depth. And we see what happens right now. And yeah, we're suffering because this T-Wolves team, dude, they are young, they are hungry, and they are going for it.
T-Wolves team's good. Anthony
They are
Edwards.
very good.
Anthony Edwards is a dog.
Oh my God, he's ridiculous.
He's what you want every superstar to be. Is that
He's really grown
hungry,
into his own. Yeah,
hungry, go at you, talk crap while he's doing it,
absolutely.
have fun. Like,
Yep. He's got that 90s style, honestly, Kobe style ball play in it.
the dude's a badass.
He's
Like,
just locked in.
he knows he's good, and he tells you he's good,
and he
you
tells
know?
you he's good. Yeah.
Like,
But he doesn't tell you he's good and then
he does it, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm that
Yeah.
good." Like,
exactly. He doesn't say it beforehand.
before he does it, and then he's
Right.
like, "Yeah, I did
Yeah.
that."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, man. I mean, just to sum up on the Suns, dude. Yeah, we listen. We got to an NBA Finals with Chris Paul that I honestly thought that we would win because in today's league we should have won that. We were the better shooting team, and we got outdogged, out defended, and outlengthed by a Giannis Bucks team who won off of literal 90s basketball, which is we're going to play in the trenches and we're going to win off 2-pointers and length. Now, is that the recipe for winning championships in this league? No, it's not. It's definitely not because it's only going to work every once in a while. The majority of the time, the rings are going to go to the Warriors. They're going to go to the Bostons at some point. They're going to go to the LAs when they had some shooters around them. They're going to go to the guys who are surrounding themselves with the right people. They're going to go to the LeBron and the Cavs when he's got Kyle Korver, Kyrie Irving, Swish, and Tristan and K Love that can pull it from the three. But yeah, dude, it sucks. Like it sucks having this talent in Booker and this insane talent in KD, and just knowing that we totally screwed it. Like the only way, and I'll end on this, the only way that the Suns can get better is that we have to move off from Beal.
And I think he's got a no trade clause. So.
Yeah, he does. Correct. So then it's like you have to move off of KD, but you don't want to move off of KD.
Yeah. And
So-
KD goes back to the Thunder. No.
Will he be accepted there?
It's a good question. I think so.
Really?
I don't know. Big Cat was talking about it today on Part of My Take, and I thought it was an interesting scenario.
Russell would be. Russell would be accepted back in a minute.
I just think it would be a good way for it to go full circle for his career, and he gets one there.
He ain't getting one there.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. You want to talk about any of these other teams before we move on to the NFL draft here?
Well, before we move on to the NFL draft, let's take a mid podcast break. And dude, I know you've been coaching. I want to hear about your coaching experience. What's been going on?
Yeah. We're rocking the polo today. We were out in the pitch all day today. It was fun. Freshman team, been coaching the freshman team. We're undefeated. We're doing well. We're playing real well ball. Had a good win this past weekend out of Cumberland Valley, 33-0, not to brag. But yeah, the varsity's 0-3 to start the year. We got good talent. Guys have been playing rugby for a while, but the team just they've just been folding a bit.
Hard
right?
stuff.
And so the coaches are, the two head coaches, Jess and Tulio, are like, all right, season's pretty much done. We can't make the playoffs. Let's see what these kids got. And there's no roster spots open at this point. No matter who you are on this team, we got to go out there Wednesday. We're going to split you up evenly.
Okay.
And those two are going to watch, and you got to prove it. You got to prove and earn your jersey here.
Okay.
So those two were out. They were sitting on this out in the seats watching the game, and it was me and the other coach, McCool. We were coaching. So I'm sitting there at work today. I know what we're about to do a little bit later today. I'm like, I need these kids I need to get these kids going.
You
Our
gotta get them
biggest
riled up.
thing, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I need a Miracle 2.0 speech to get these kids going. I'm talking with Bob Cooney. And I'm like, Bob, like, help me out here. Like, we gotta get something passionate, get these boys moving for this game. And then I get to them. I'm like, all right, everybody, bring it in. Our biggest thing is these kids, they have talent. They all can pass. They can, for the most
Right.
part, they have good rugby IQ. They know how to play the game, but nobody has the heart. Nobody has the want to put their hand up and go and put somebody on their ass.
Straight up.
Nobody has that. I'm gonna go and run this dude over. I'm gonna forget the play for a second. I'm gonna go get us 15 meters. There's nobody on
Right.
this team that could do that. No, they're all too nice kids. Like, we need some kids that can just go out there and run them the fuck over.
Right.
And we don't have that. So I'm talking to these kids. I'm like, I even threw in a good analogy with little bit of Sixers Knicks action. I'm like, everybody saw the last 2 minutes of that game. The Knicks wanted every single play. The Sixers wanted none of it.
Yep.
We need to be the Knicks. We need guys from a culture standpoint of down and dirty, get it done, get the job done. Next
Straight
play,
up.
move on, get it done. We need to change the culture of this team because we can coach everybody up and everybody's got the talent, the skill sets, but we need to change the mindset, the philosophy of the way we go about practice, the way we go about games. Because we can go, ha ha, have fun, this and that, be lax, but when we come to the game, it shows. We can still have fun and do everything else, but we need, when we have to turn it up, we need to be badasses.
We need to be able to.
We need to go out there and kick ass. And I fired these kids up, I swear to God. And we went out there and we beat the other. Well, we were blue, they were stripes. We beat the stripes team by 5 tries.
We beat the Stripes.
We beat that ass.
We beat that ass.
We went out there and we dominated them. And I told these kids, I'm like, I'm ready to be a dick today. If you guys are messing around, you screw up, I'm going to let you hear it. I didn't really have to let any kid hear it because they went out there. They went out there and kicked ass.
They stepped up.
They stepped up. And all these kids, they came up to me afterwards and they're like, Coach, we beat that ass. I'm like, damn right we did. So I was glad that it worked.
That's awesome. That's awesome, dude.
It was cool.
Where were the majority of the tries coming from? The back line or the big boys?
It was a good mix. It was a good mix.
Okay.
Our forwards were getting us going for sure, which is I like to see. And that's the way rugby's supposed to be played.
Yeah,
the forwards get us going. They were all getting us 5+ meters. We weren't trying to do anything crazy, and then we'd get it to the back line and they'd finish. Right. You know? So it was a good mix. Our guys just wanted it more. And that's what it takes.
That's what it comes down to. Hell yeah. If you want it, you'll take it.
That's where and it was cool to see, like, you guys can do this. Let's start doing this on Sundays. It's just a mentality change. And it was cool to kind of see that get through to these kids, you know?
And wanting it and taking it is a perfect transition to 24 hours away, the NFL draft. Who's wanting it? Who's taking it? Who's trading out? Who's coming up? Who's going back? And who's taking QBs that we didn't think that they were taking? Let's start. We are not talking about the number 1 overall pick. We know who the number 1 overall pick is. It's Chicago. It's Big Cat, Dan Katz's wet dream in Caleb Williams. We know this. We understand this. We're moving on. But let's talk about Washington. You know, people are saying Jaden Daniels is the number 1 or number 2 pick to go to Washington. And people are like, well, there might be somebody else who's better. You know, do you want to think about Bo Nix? Do you want to think about Drake May? Let's make one thing clear. Jaden Daniels played in the SEC against SEC defenses like Auburn, like Alabama, like Georgia, all season long. And he looked like a dog doing it. A dog. He's a phenomenal talent. He's definitely going. But where I think Trill and I really want to talk about this segment is not going through each pick, but who are the shakers and the movers of this draft? And who's possibly got the most leeway here? And Trill, I told you there's one team here that I think's got the most power out of anybody in the draft, besides the Bears, obviously, with that number 1 overall pick, that I think can shake the ground of current players in the league, shake the potential of the draft, and possibly really define what their season's going to look like this upcoming year. And that's the Chargers at 5. The Chargers at 5 have the ability to take someone off the board big time that someone else needs. Now, they also need some help for sure, definitely on that offensive line. So they might want to stay there and take their pick. But dude, when you're thinking about it,
one of these receivers.
Absolutely. But they're solidified in that quarterback position. And at least we think. And so you got to wonder to yourself, number one, are the ideas of dealing Herbert out there? Yeah, they're out there. They don't really make sense because if you got rid of him, his hurt against the cap would be way too big. But where I fall down to it, dude, is if you're at 5, what's a team that might want to go up there and snag 5? Denver or the Vikings. 2 teams that have very decent rosters, the Vikings who have a great roster, and go up and get exactly who they want at 5. And you got to wonder, what are the Chargers going to put on that price tag if they want that? You know, if the Vikings are coming up and they're saying, hey, we want to go to 5, we're not willing to sit. What are they? I think that they're at 13, no, they're 11. If they don't want to sit back until 11, dude, they want to get 6 spots ahead. What can the Chargers ask for that, dude? They're not going to be able to ask for Jefferson, but they can ask for anything else that they want.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's got the 2 first now.
Right.
So, yeah, and the Chargers are in a solid spot there where if people are trading up, and you're hearing a lot of stuff about the Giants probably maybe taking a quarterback.
As they should.
If somebody's trading up to them, they're getting in front of the Giants to take a quarterback. So then these wide receivers and offensive linemen, they can start to trickle down to you past the Bears. So like anywhere from that 10 to 12 spot, you'd be safe trading down to and still getting a guy that you would really want that you could have got at 5 almost. So they're in a real strong spot there for sure.
So my question to you is this. There's 6 quarterbacks prospectively to go in the first round. Do you think that those 6 quarterbacks will be off the board before the 12th pick?
That'd be wild if it did.
That would be absolutely wild.
Yeah.
But let's break it down. We know for a fact that 2 are going for the first 2 picks. We actually know that 3 are going because New England's there. So you've got 3. You only got 3 left. You only need 3 left, and I'm talking about 9 more picks.
The one team
Giants
that I want to
need
see, I want to see make a move up there for a quarterback. We talked about it a little bit before. I want to see the Raiders.
Yes.
I want to see the Raiders
Now
do something.
I think
Get relevant again. They got some talent on the defensive side of the football. Get something going on the offense here.
But see,
no more of this lame ass Derek Carr. You got Devontae Adams. You got weapons. Go make it happen.
So so you're kind of solidifying though my point here. We're solidifying both by saying that the Raiders may move up, because do you think that Penix is going to slip down to them at 13? I don't. I think that Penix is the biggest steal in the draft. I think that Penix is going to have, out of this whole class of QBs, he's going to have the best career, if not the second best in the NFL.
I like him for sure. I don't think any of these quarterbacks that'll go, other than maybe Bo Nix, really have high bust potential. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree with that.
All their ceilings might not be the craziest, but their floors aren't that bad, I don't think. Especially with the way the quarterback play was last year with the depth at quarterback. Like, even say if they don't have a great number, first round pick career, these guys could still be solid NFL quarterbacks. I don't think any of these guys are total busts. But now I say that we'll pull the clip in about 5 years, and 3 of the
who's a bust?
6, yeah, they all suck.
So my question to you would be, going back to that original point that we started with this conversation, what does the 5th pick mean to LA, and what's it worth? Who would go up to 5 is the first question.
I think if Jim Harbaugh's looking at this team, right,
Right.
You were in cap hell. You got rid of your 2 wide receiver weapons,
Right.
right?
Right.
He's big on building the O-line, building the trenches, the way
Yes.
Michigan football.
Everything.
I think with the depth at offensive line and the needs that they have on this team with the defense aging too, they can afford to trade back to try to
I
recruit
agree.
to get some more talent on this
Yes.
team. They
I
have to
absolutely
get
agree.
younger. I
Yep.
think taking a player at 5, as much as I'm a fan, especially where the Eagles are sitting at, and of getting the best player, getting the player you want, sometimes you have to think a little bit more of the long haul. And maybe you still get the guy that you really want if you trade down a little bit, but that's a risk you're gonna have to take. But sometimes getting more
Ah,
and filling out this
ah,
roster with better players
yep.
might be better than getting one top guy.
I think that Jim's got to take the playbook out of his brother.
And I think that's the way Jim builds
Is
his
thinking about it.
teams.
Yes. Is he's got to go the hardball route,
Yeah.
my hardball route, which is not best player available, not best player by position, just best player available. And we will take him and we will build him. And that's the Raven way. I think that
If
you're
they do
right.
that, then you stay at 5, though.
No.
Or you
I
trade
actually
back
think
and then you take best at that spot, and then
exactly.
you get more of those guys.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that yes, I think that you go about that route. And you also got to wonder what are they get? Are you getting some high second round picks? Are you able to trade that 5 pick? My question is that 5 pick worth a current starter in the NFL? That's my question. Because that's what I think would be more beneficial. Is that if you're going to take that and you're going to
Want a
swap
first
that
and a
pick,
player?
no, maybe like 2 seconds in a player. Like you're getting that 5th overall
Trading
pick.
totally out of this first round, though, is tough.
It is, but you gotta. But dude, the depth. First of all, the depth of offensive line guards is heavy in this draft.
Who would be worth that 5th for that team?
That's
You got pass
honestly,
rushers right now.
honestly,
They're getting
honestly.
older.
There's one guy,
What, Justin Jefferson
Devontae Adams,
or Adams? Yeah.
and then you got the Raiders going up, talking about making a move. Raiders going up to 5.
Well, would the Raiders have to put 13 in that trade with Adams, or do they
No,
keep both?
no,
They keep 5 and 13.
yeah, they keep 5 and 13 because Devontae Adams is worth a number 1 overall pick.
I think
He's
so
that
too.
good. He's that good.
You might the Chargers might have to throw in a third or something. Maybe.
Maybe
No, or maybe I'm thinking
I think it's just a
the
straight
Raiders.
swap. I think it's just
For the
yes.
5th overall pick.
Well, no. To your point, it would either be my point. It would either be a swap or it would be like they throw in a third. Yes, but if
Yeah.
you're getting Devontae, my point is Devontae.
No,
Adams,
I don't hate that at all.
he would change.
Yeah,
He would change the way that
that
the AFC West could go.
Yeah, he would change that offense a lot for sure.
Yes, and he could change that division. Like he
Yeah.
could launch them into the stratosphere where, listen, the Chiefs are great, but we've seen, and they just won the Super Bowl. They're amazing, but we've seen that they have potential to lose. Is this the point now you're bringing one of the best offensive minds in the league? You've got this incredible talent behind center. If we add him with one of the most dynamic receivers ever to grace the field, what does that mean?
Yeah, no, that'd be electric for that team for sure.
That's
And
what I'm
then the
saying.
Raiders go, they get a quarterback, and then you could probably get a wide receiver at 13.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think we just are the best GMs in the league. Right
I
there.
think so as well, dude.
We might have to clip that and send it to them before tomorrow.
I love it.
Like,
man.
make it happen.
I love it, dude. My question to you is, and 100% we're doing that, why are the Titans on every mock draft not looking to take a QB? Oh, well, I know.
Levis, they
but
took him in the second round.
I
like him. He's fine.
I guess.
I think all right. So say you do go QB. What really do they have there? I mean, you gave Ridley that big deal, right? But you don't have any O-line. You got rid of your running back. You brought in Pollard. Your defense is kind of meh. They've signed a couple guys, but that team's for the next 3-4 years here. So you might as well give that second round pick a chance, build up around him. He's not the guy in a year or two, then you'll get your quarterback.
Right.
I think that's where their heads are at.
Right.
You build up the rest of the team, and then you can go make a move for a QB if Levis doesn't pan out, which
By
I
the
think
way,
they think he will. But
to our last point, I just want to say this: if Jaden Daniels does not get taken at 2 and he falls, the Raiders will do what we just said with the Chargers. Like I'm declaring that if Jaden Daniels does not get, Devontae Adams is out, the 3rd overall pick going at 5, he'll go at 5. So I think it comes down to which quarterback is going to get their career destroyed by going to New England.
why would it be destroyed?
Because there's nothing there for potential to build for you. You have nothing but defense. You have no offensive awareness around you with the changes that they made coaching wise. They got rid of the greatest coach of all time and they put a guy in who's just as defensive preferable. You are going to a division where we've seen that Tua can light up the field. Josh Allen owns it to this point, and you're got a healthy Aaron Rodgers coming back. You're dead.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, there's no upside to being a New England quarterback right now. Nothing besides the short-term money. That's it.
You got to fill Tom Brady's shoes still.
You got to fill Tom Brady's shoes. The only guy that has enough talent to play in that city right now in this draft class is Caleb Williams. He's the only guy. Because he did it at USC. And it was a pretty similar dumpster fire.
With you saying all that, with all the different positional needs for the Patriots, do you think they realize that and go, maybe we shouldn't go QB here and build the rest of this team up?
Well, who do they have right now under center?
Jacoby Brissett, I think they brought back.
Well, then you have to wonder if they weren't going to go QB, what position does mean more? Because what you should do is if you're
trade
New England
back with the Vikings or somebody, you get a bunch of picks, you build your offense up,
and you get a bunch of receivers and offensive line. You need to focus on offense. I was going to say if you stay here, you get a generational talent at receiver.
Yeah, you go Marvin Harrison.
Like if you're there, you're getting Marvin Harrison, exactly.
But then it's like Kirk Cousins, not Kirk Cousins, but Justin Jefferson, where he's at now. He needs a QB. Who's gonna throw him the ball?
Well, he needs a QB, but the difference is that he's there for a long.
Brissett can sling it though. He can get ready. He can throw bombs. He's a Hail Mary specialist.
He's there for a long enough
Maserati
time.
Marv.
And
my eyes are bothering me.
He's there for a long enough time.
If you're watching on the YouTube, click subscribe. If I made any good faces.
What's going on with your eyes, bro? Are you good?
I was out in the sun all day.
Were you looking at it?
What? Yeah, the eclipse got to me.
Oh, God. Dude, when I saw people crying on the news about the eclipse, I didn't know how to react.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's beautiful.
A local New Jersey station had like a couple making out on the camera with the eclipse going on. It was like really wild. Back to it, though.
Liz is crazy. I can't believe she did that.
We're sticking on topic here. What does New England do, dude? Everybody's saying Drake May, but dude, Drake May, I mean, first of all, I don't think that Drake May is good. I'll just be honest. And that's because I'm a Penix guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put that in ratio. I don't mean that he's not good. I mean in relation to other talent that's available, in my opinion.
You're a penis guy. We know that.
Yes, correct. But I like your idea where honestly, like New England trades out here. But again, who would want that 3? Who's so desperate at 3? The Vikings.
Vikings, Giants. They want to jump.
The Giants aren't moving from 6 to 3.
I think so.
No way. Who would they? They're not going to a quarterback for that. There'll still be one available at 6. Who would they go get that?
They want their guy.
Who?
They want May. If they want JJ. And they're afraid that the Vikings are going to jump up to 3. Somebody jumps up to 3, they go and do it themselves. And they trade all their draft capital, so they suck for years on years on years.
Do you think that what do you think New England's thinking right now? Like if you're in that room, are they preferable to trading out or are they preferable to taking a player?
I think they take a player.
Me too. That's what I think too. And I think that's the wrong decision.
Yeah. We'll have to see. All right, before we give what we think is going to be the top 5, let's look down further down in the draft here.
Yep.
What teams down in like the 15 and below, other
Yep.
than ours, our teams, that
Yes.
can really get a good, valuable player, instant starter that you kind of see in mock drafts that are kind of dropping a little bit, that can be an instant impact for these teams?
Well, besides obviously Vegas and talking about Penix if he falls that low, but that's within 13. If we go down, I think that the most preferable one would be these, honestly, it's these 3 teams in order: Miami, Denver, Minnesota. Miami 100% has a possibility of getting a defensive tackle. I think Newton's on pretty much every mock draft, and for good reason. And Miami needs that with what they've lost defensively, and they need to keep that stride of guys who are quick and fast of making an impact. Newton's a guy that can do that coming out of Illinois. I definitely think that Denver's going to find a way to get a quarterback.
Well, that 22 spot, that's the Eagles pick. Are you looking at Jeremiah?
No,
NFL
I thought
Network?
Denver solidified there. I thought that you guys are in the teens.
No, that would be this mock trade that they got here. The Eagles are at 22.
Okay. So where's Denver at then?
They're up at they're another team that could trade up for a quarterback.
Yes.
12.
Well, then I'll leave it at this because Minnesota's in the 20s, right?
Yeah.
So
They got two picks.
the two that I would say is, again, Miami. I definitely think Newton. And for, I think that the Vikings are going to take one of their picks and trade up. So I think when we go back to these team numbers, I think they're going to just go for a really, really good defensive player. And there's a million to take here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this here. I see this Byron Murphy the second. I've seen a lot of people talk about him going to the top 10. If he goes 18 to the Bengals, but Joe coming back healthy, the wide receivers that they got, that would boost their defense tremendously to get some pass rush there. That'd be a huge pickup. That'd be a huge pickup for that team. They can get an impact defensive lineman that they've been waiting for since like Geno Atkins, I don't even know if he's still in the league or not, but that would be huge for them. And then one last team I was looking at here. If Detroit gets Kool-Aid McKinstry, the cornerback out of Alabama at 29, to help that defense out even more, that'd be huge. That Lions team can be dangerous moving forward for the next. I mean, they already are going to be, but to bolster that defense with Brian Branch, that'd be something.
And the Lions are continuing to solidify positions. They just played St. Brown today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not going away anytime soon. All right, let's jump back real quick and we'll end off with this one question, because as we can't ever go without talking about LeBron, we can't ever go without talking about Aaron. And then we'll talk about JJ and we'll call it a night unless you got something else. My question to you is this: Jets are at 10. Are the Jets better served getting a receiver or getting an offensive tackle?
They paid a couple.
They did.
They're old.
They paid my boy. They paid
Brown,
Stanley
Brown or whatever.
Yes. Thank you.
And then they paid Tyron Smith. But Smith is up there though.
That's what I'm saying.
Do they draft a guy for the next
next spot when you're looking at, especially when you're looking at what happened with Aaron?
Or do you go Dunze? Do you go Brock Bowers?
So my question to you is, what's the biggest piece of need?
I think they go Bowers.
Okay.
I think you build around Aaron and you make it work because that defense is pretty good.
That defense is, come on.
Yeah.
Lights out.
Pretty good.
Yeah. They're lights out.
I think you get him.
If they weren't doing all the work, they'd be lights out. They're really good, but if they weren't doing all the work, they'd be lights out.
Yeah. So,
okay. I guess the final question is, where is JJ going? I think he's almost getting too much hype.
Do you think he's Will Levis and drops out of the first round?
No. He's a lot better than Will Levis. A lot better.
Well, I'm just saying, situation. But
No, no. Well, for that to happen, that would mean that a lot of teams traded out.
uh-huh.
Like a lot of like Minnesota would have had to trade out. Because, for
Uh-huh.
example, I'll put it this way: I think that Penix is going to go through before McCarthy, and no one is saying that. But I called what's his name last year to the Colts.
Oh, Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, when Richardson got called up early, I
Mm-hmm.
called that right there live, and I 100% believe that. I think that Penix is going to go before McCarthy.
Uh-huh.
But my question is, where is McCarthy really going to go? People are saying Bo Nix to Denver, but I think that there's more of a shot that JJ goes to Denver. And
Yeah,
that's because Peyton Manning keeps talking about it. And I probably think that he's right.
pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think he falls out of the first round. I'm gonna go
Do
with
you
that.
really? You should put a bet on that, man.
Yeah.
If that's available. We should see if that's available right now. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Let me look, and because that would be crazy if that's probably high odds.
One of these QBs is not getting picked in the first round.
So you don't think that all of them are going to go?
No.
Why?
I just think that a lot of these teams there's QB needy teams for sure. But I think the way that they value some of these quarterbacks, the way that people talk about them pre-draft is not actually how teams value them. And I don't think a lot of these teams are thinking that a Bo Nix, a McCarthy are really that top tier, top 15 type pick. That they
Wow.
think if they get past, like if they can go down and say the Raiders do get what's his face, right? Penix, or the Vikings do, and then the Raiders go a different way and they don't go quarterback because they got Gardner or whatever, right? Then you can see these QBs start to go to the second round, I think.
Dude, you can't get him into the second round. You can't. That's not a bet available. But one that is available on BetMGM is total QBs drafted in round one over under 5.5, and under 4.5 is plus 240.
Under 4?
Under 4.5.
Uh-huh. 240? I like that.
Yeah, that's like good odds for what you're saying. I don't know if I agree with you because I think that there are a lot of teams that we've seen the separation between good quarterback play and it's
Yeah.
unsustainable.
Yeah.
It's unsustainable for these teams that don't have good quarterbacks. And the quarterbacks that are available coming out of this class are really good. They're really good.
It's just every single year, it's obviously it's quarterback, quarterback, quarterback. Oh, this guy. And like most of these guys a couple months ago were second, third, fourth round picks. And all of a sudden, with all the hype as we get closer and all these other things, oh, they could go top 5. They could go top 10. This team needs the quarterback. They're going to get him here. But then they actually end up getting him in the third round instead.
Sure.
We've seen it time
Sure.
and time again.
And I think who's most likely with that, I would argue, and I would agree with you, is JJ.
Yeah. Bo Nix, 100%. I don't see him really being a first round pick unless
Me neither. I don't understand why
the
he is, by
Broncos
the
are
way.
really that desperate.
Why is Bo Nix a first round pick?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't get
The
it.
guy's on the older side of the draft too because he's been
Yep.
around for so long.
So long.
The upside's really, I mean, he's a decent player, but I don't think the upside's there.
Not to walk in and lead a team.
Yeah, he would have to.
Yeah, 100%. If
With
he's
his
going to Denver, he
age, he
is.
can't
Yeah.
sit.
No. Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. And the team that's drafting him doesn't have a true starter.
Yeah.
None of the teams that need quarterbacks right now have a guy like a Tyrod Taylor.
Mhm.
Honestly, the only team that does is actually New England in Jacoby.
Uh-huh.
So,
All right. Dream spot for the Eagles, dream spot for the Ravens. Who we want? I said it last week or 2 weeks ago now. I had our boy Kieran pull it for me. I'm going to post it in the morning. If the Eagles can somehow trade up and get Brock Bowers, be electric. Everybody's saying corner O-line, corner O-line. They get Brock Bowers on this team, and you go Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert, and Brock Bowers on an offense together. Watch the fuck out. We're putting up 100 every game. But
okay,
this Eagles team needs defense. They need defense
Dream
bad.
dream for me, we need offensive line bad more than anything. More than anything. But we're saying dream. So we're not going with what we know is gonna happen. We're going with what we want. And
I
it's
got a
that
player that I would like on the Ravens.
yeah, it's that the Ravens trade up to 3 and get Marvin Harris.
Yeah.
If we traded up to 3 and got Marvin Harris when we've seen what happens when we surround Lamar
Dream,
with
but
shooters.
somewhat.
Okay. Somewhat available
The
and
Eagles
factual.
could go up if Brock Bowers slides past the Jets and he gets into the 14, 15, 16, the Eagles could go up and get that. The Ravens aren't going from 30 to 3.
Okay. If all right,
There
well
is a
then
receiver I'm looking at Jeremiah's who I was surprised going to this team. I would like on this Ravens team. But I don't know if that's a dream though.
I mean, if we weren't gonna do that, and if I'd love us to jump up into the small digits and go get a guy like Alt from Notre Dame.
Yeah, even a
He
a
would be
guy,
crazy to have. Oh my
even
God, would he be
Guyton
good?
from Oklahoma would be good. I mean, you have to go up that
And
high,
dude, Dallas Turner,
or
on
Mims.
the defensive side from
Yeah.
Bama. Oh,
I
come
would
on.
like to see Xavier Worthy, him and Flowers going at it together.
And a lot of people have made that argument that
That'd be
they would be
good.
a cool combo.
Two
At least
fast
a
twitch
Ravens podcast
guys.
I listen to. Yeah,
Yeah, like that'd be sexy. That'd be a sexy one too. Finally,
it'd be
Lamar
huge.
gets some weapons. You know,
Back to back
especially if
years of weapons.
OBJ's not gonna
He's
be
gone.
around. Yeah. Did he sign anywhere? No, right?
No, that's the thing. The question is, where is he going to end up?
Yeah. So you get young, you get wide receivers to go with Lamar, try to get some
Yeah.
more MVPs and lose in the
I would love
playoffs.
for us to go get a receiver.
But
I would love for us to blow the top off with a receiver. Because here's the thing: if we went and got Marvin Harrison Jr., if we actually did that, and we had that partnered with Andrews, with Likely, with Derrick Henry, but you went a guy whose hands are made out of glue. Like God decided to make part of his genes, part of his physical makeup, glue. If you did that, dude, off the top, ripping the top off of the ball, oh my God.
shout out Maserati Marv, LaSalle High School, freshman year for him.
Then where did he go after that?
He went to the prep after that.
So he's on ice.
Yeah.
All right, let's call it.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff, everybody. Oh, last thing. Am I dumb? Can I go pro in cornhole? I think I can do it.
I think you can.
Go follow the TikTok at Brennan Petrilli. We're on to day 3. Tomorrow will be day 4. I'm throwing 100 bags every day till we get.
Is it 100?
100.
It's triple digits every day. Now,
Every
how
day.
often are you switching boards?
What?
How
I go
often are you
back and
taking
forth.
steps?
You don't watch the TikToks?
No, but how many? My question is, how many throws until you switch?
8.
8. Okay, so you're going 8 and 8. Okay.
8 and 8. Yeah, 8. Walk down, set the
Yeah.
camera up, get back. 8. Walk, change the camera, walk back.
All right.
8. You know,
Okay.
it's a good workout. Frank walks to lose weight. I think I'm gonna lose weight doing this cornhole stuff.
Dude, did you see the video where he explained his heaviest and things like that? It was crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, go check out the TikTok. Follow, like, subscribe, everything. Love all you guys. Shout out to 215 Go Birds, baby.
Go Raven.